Hello everybody, Happy New Year, welcome back to the channel. I think it's been a minute since my last video.
In a minute?
Yeah. Because that was my vinyl finds from November that I did. This, I'm jumping on the vinyl tag for 2022. I normally get to these a little bit later, but I figured I'll jump on this now because there was some really good questions actually. Some questions I know we've had before, but this is Rob Walker's vinyl tag that he did, and I'm sure he's done 22 questions, which I'm sure is probably to do with it being 2022. That might be it, but yeah, I hope I answer all the questions right. I have them written down on a piece of paper. That is, you can finally see how untidy my writing is, especially when I'm writing super quickly. But yeah, let's get on with this video because we are nearly a minute and a half in and I want to do it in one take. And Jenny's playing Call of Duty in the background, so apologies if you hear it. So, first question is favourite album of 2021. Now, Rob did say this could be your favourite pickup of 2021. I'm going to talk about both. My favourite album of 2021, new release. I didn't actually pick it up on vinyl because all the vinyl pressings are super expensive that I found, or out of my budget, I should say. But it was Green Tea Peng's I believe the album's Man Made. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But it was my favourite album of 2021. Just so many different genres in that album. Bit of soul, bit of trip hop, bit of hip hop, bit of psych in there. It was just all over the place and I loved that. And that album really stuck with me throughout the year when I discovered it, and it really was just a fantastic album. However, my favourite pickup of the year, album that I've gone out of my way to find myself, is ODB's Return to the 36 Chambers. This is a 2012 reissue from Rhino Records. Fantastic album, Wu solo album. I didn't have this one. I like a lot of the Wu solo debuts. It's just a shame this one's eluded me for so long because it is one of my favourites, and out of all the ones that people really talk about that are their favourites, this one doesn't get thrown in that conversation too often, so this is one I wanted to pick up. Yeah, shame he only had 2 albums out, but this is the debut. This is obviously the better album of his 2, but still a fantastic album nonetheless. Super happy to have picked that album up in 2021. Definitely my favourite pickup of 2021. Yeah, it was quite late in the year, but it's an album that's been on my wish list for probably as long as I've been collecting vinyl. So anyway, let's get on with the questions. Show a record of the first band or artist you saw live. For me, the first band I ever got to see live was China Crisis. This is their album What Price Paradise from 1986. This actually is my favourite album from them. It has the song Best Kept Secret on it, which is the song I remember most from that gig. Arizona Skies on this album. It's just a really good album. They're such an underrated band from their time period. Band out of Liverpool. So very, very good 80s band. Very underappreciated in my opinion, but they are the first band that I saw live. So there is that one. Show a duo. One of my favourite duos, and this is no secret, but one of my favourite duos is Hall & Oates. This is the best of that only came out in Japan. Of a little bit of their earlier stuff like Rich Girl, Kiss on My List, Sarah Smile, You Made My Dreams. Yeah, just an incredible compilation there. So Definitely a very, very good duo. And I love the Japanese pressings. Shame I don't have that many, but that's a good one. Show an album that's still in the shrink. This is Pete Rock's return of the SP 1200 from the records. I believe it's from Record Store Day 2018 or 19. I forget, but it's one of the only albums I have still in the shrink. Because normally I do take the shrink off my brand new releases. But I was going through my collection. This is one of the first ones I found. That's why I picked it up. So yeah, there's. That's why I'm showing it for question 4. Return of the SP 1200. Show a concept album. Now, obviously, everyone's got their opinions on a concept album. There's a lot of concept albums out there, and everyone has their opinion on what a concept album is. For me, I did Google to double check this came under concept album, and Google said it did. So I'm throwing this in concept albums. It is Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, 2016 reissue. This is obviously remastered, but it's an exact replica of the original. The pressing's incredible, by the way. I believe it's remastered at Abbey Road. Maybe not, but it's an exact replica of the original, how it came in this black cover with the postcard, a recreation of the postcard, everything. So yeah, I decided to show this because it's an album I don't talk about that much, but it is one of my favorite Floyd albums, maybe my second favorite, only to Animals, but definitely 100% in my top 3. So yeah, there's Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here. Question 6, show an album you haven't shown before. This one was difficult because I typically show everything I pick up, but I was going through a stack of stuff and realised I hadn't shown this album on my channel. It's Spandau Ballet's Parade from 1984. I don't know why I didn't show this or anything, because I really love Spandau Ballet. They're one of my favourite bands from the 80s. But yeah, I have no idea why I didn't show this, but incredible album from Spandau Ballet. Love it. Question 7, a discovery from 2021, and definitely, I mean, I discovered a lot of stuff in 2021, mainly when we were in lockdown at the beginning of the year, because there wasn't much else to do.
Besides my exam.
Sorry. But other than running back and forth from hospital because the baby was nearly coming, but I did discovered this in December, and it really impacted me in a big way. So Father John Misty's Fear Fun is not just an album I discovered in 2021, but an artist I'm gonna dig more into, because I really dug this album and I want to look into more of his stuff. So yeah, Father John Misty's Fear Fun is one of my favourite albums of 2021. Well, that I discovered in 2021. It came out in 2012, but discovery for me, one of my favourites. And I discovered quite a bit of like folky, sort of chilled kind of stuff. So this was definitely one that is memorable for me. Also discovered a lot of jazz this year, which I didn't plan to, but what can I say? Lockdown, when you're in lockdown, there ain't much else you can do, is there? Question 8, show a live album. Definitely a live album I haven't stopped playing since it came out, and this is my favourite band for anyone who is wondering or anyone who knows already. It's Arctic Monkeys live at Royal Albert Hall. Now the performance was from 2018. The vinyl didn't come out until 2020. They did the gig in honor of the charity, in honor of War Child. I believe it's a charity-based event. But yeah, this is one of my favorite live shows that they've done. One of the few that's officially on vinyl. I have a couple of live bootlegs of theirs, but when it comes down to official live pressings that are affordable, this one is definitely a good one. And if you are just a casual Arctic Monkeys fan, obviously live stuff's not always the best place to start, but this is as close as you're going to get to a greatest hits on vinyl without being able to stream, because obviously you can stream on Spotify or iTunes now. Like, you can type in best of Arctic Monkeys and a playlist will come up. But if you want an album on vinyl that's kind of a best of, I would go for this. I mean, yes, a live album, but everything on here is incredible. Even the songs from their last album, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, which split a lot of fans right down the middle with. It even makes me love them songs again, because there's a bit of a rockier feel to them, not like there is on the album. The album feels very, very overproduced to me, but fantastic album, live album, definitely my favourite one so far that I have in my collection. One I haven't stopped playing since I got it either at the beginning or end of 2020. I think I got it at the end of 2020, but still a fantastic album. Number 9, show an album you bought overseas. Again, this always comes up in my videos, but my meet up with Tim from High News Vinyl and Brad from H2 Vinyl back in 2019. I met up with them when we went on a family holiday to Orlando, and while they went off to Disney World, I went record shopping with Tim and Brad, and I ended up picking up we had to buy a separate suitcase just to bring everything back that I bought. But I just picked out this one, Group Home's Living Proof, hip hop album produced by DJ Premier.
One away from Mechanic Strike.
Which is an incredible album. It's a 2017 reissue, but when I picked this up, it hadn't been reissued here yet. But obviously, after I bring it home, they announced the reissue.
Why are you talking off robot?
I have no idea. Wasn't where I was.
You were talking like a robot.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, once I brought this home, they announced the reissue, and obviously I wasn't pleased, but kind of was at the same time, because this was cheaper than the reissue that they announced over here. So yeah, Group Home's Living Proof, one of my favourite hip hop albums at the moment, or actually maybe of all time even now. But yeah, just an incredible album. I'm so glad I found that on a trip in Orlando, Florida. Obviously I got loads more than that, but that's just the one that Herbie Hancock's Headhunters and Talking Heads, Speaking in Tongues, it's those three really that stuck out the most. But as Herbie Hancock's Headhunters is in a box somewhere and packed away in a box because of limited space, and Speaking in Tongues is somewhere else, I just picked up that one. Anyway, I'm talking shit at this point. Number 10, question 10, show a record with a price sticker still on it, an album I haven't shown for a while.
You just memory card.
Oh, sorry. Steve Winwood's Ark of a Diver. You can see the price sticker still there. Used to be $5.79 from Earfriend Records and Tapes. I actually love this Steve Winwood album. It's definitely my favourite Steve Winwood album that he's done from 1980. His favourite solo album, I should say, because obviously he did all the stuff with Traffic, he was in Blind Faith. Yeah, but Steve Winwood solo stuff, this is definitely my favourite album, and so yeah, definitely happy to show that one off again, because I haven't done that for a while. Question 11, show a punk or new wave album. Now I could have picked out a handful of new wave albums and just talked about them. Punk is not really my thing, but the closest I do have, and I know some people say this band don't come under punk, I personally put them under punk is The Clash. This is Combat Rock, an album I also picked up from, well, it's from, in 2021. Love this. This is an OG pressing. Love this album. My favourite from The Clash. And like I said, some punk fans don't put them under punk because they're not heavy enough. I still put them in that category. So that's why I'm showing them in that question, because I put them under punk. Question 12, show a box set. A box set I always show on a question like this. This is Public Enemy's Live at Metropolis Studios. Absolutely incredible box set. I got a steal on this when I got it. It was for a steal, and I have shown this off before, but I'll quickly talk about it. There is another edition of this, which is just a gatefold double album on black vinyl box set. Comes with the album on 2 clear LPs, comes with a double CD, and comes with the Blu-ray disc of the live show, as well as a booklet and a bunch of other stuff. So that's why I went for this, because it, out of the two, it was the better deal, I should say, out of the two, because this goes for a lot more than the other one does now. But yeah, definitely my favourite box set that I own. I don't have a lot of box sets. I'm not massively into vinyl box sets, but this is one I always come back to because it's definitely my favourite box set in my collection. Yeah, it's live, but it much like the Arctic Monkeys one I mentioned earlier, it basically is a greatest hits of Public Enemy, which you don't gonna find any other way. Show an album with a sporting theme or sporting connection. So I didn't have a lot of these because, I mean, I'm not really into sports other than really WWE, wrestling, and basketball. But I did have Lilo Thomas, Let Me Be Yours. Now, before he was a singer, Lilo Thomas was an Olympic runner, so I guess that's the sporting connection there, if that counts, or if you can think that counts. I'm going to say it counts because it's the closest I have. But yeah, he used to be an Olympic runner till he was involved in a car accident that messed up his legs. It didn't remove his legs, but I think it messed up with the muscle in his legs or something, so he wasn't able to run anymore on an Olympic level anymore. So he turned to singing. But yeah, just an incredible album anyway. Fantastic. One of my favourite soul singers, R&B singers. Just absolutely incredible. So that's the album I have with a sporting connection there, if you want to count that. Question 14, a jazz album. Definitely one of my favourite pickups from 2021 is Moanin' by Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers. This is the 2016 reissue. Sounds incredible. One of my all-time favourite jazz albums. Absolutely adore this album, and may even be my new favourite jazz album. Yeah, maybe if I found that album that overtakes Headhunters. But yeah, definitely an album that is worth having in any collection, even if you're not into jazz. Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers is a fine. I mean, I knew the title track, Moanin', but I hadn't listened to the album all the way through. Finally got a chance to and fell in love with it straight away. Question 15, show a best of album. For me, I've got to go with one I've recently rediscovered in my collection. That's Temptations, All the Million Sellers. Has a lot of stuff on here, even some of their psychedelic stuff. Has My Girl on here, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, Cloud 9 and Psychedelic Shack, which are obviously in their psychedelic era of the Temptations. Just an incredible best of. And like I said, I had one of the first albums I ever bought for my collection, and just one that I'm glad to have rediscovered. So there's that. Question 16, sorry. Show an album cover with more than 8 people on the cover. This was the first one that popped into mind. It's Eminem Presents the Re-Up. Yes, it's a compilation, but there is at least more than 8 people on that cover. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 people there. So brilliant. It's obviously all the people that feature on it, all the people that are on Eminem's label Shady Records, including 50 Cent, the 6 member Eminem himself, the other 5 members of D12, and then Cashish, Stat Quo, and Obi Trice are all on here as well. Fantastic compilation, and yeah, just really, really good. And like I said, it's the first one that came into my mind because I don't have a lot of album covers with more than 8 people. I know a lot of people are probably going to talk about Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, but I don't have it in my collection. I don't have a lot of Beatles in my collection, but that was the first one I thought of that I knew I had in my collection. Number 17, show a soundtrack. Again, most of my soundtracks are stored away in a box. I only have the ones I've picked up this year that are out on display, so I decided to pick up, I could have shown a few, I haven't picked up that many soundtracks this year, but I decided to pick out The Greatest Showman for this video, just because this is easily my, I want to say guilty pleasure, but I don't feel guilty for loving this movie so much. It's just a fun film, a fun soundtrack, and most of the songs on here are very, very catchy and will get stuck in your head. Me and my fiance Jenny love this movie. Don't we?
Yeah.
Greatest Showman. It is. I would describe it as a guilty pleasure, but like I said, I just don't feel guilty for loving this movie. I'm not a massive fan of musicals, but this is one that I will watch on repeat as many times as I physically can because it never gets boring. So it is The Greatest Showman. Definitely a fun film. Is it the best made? Maybe not, but like I said, it's just fun. 18, show some VCLT. So I'm guessing Rob means like any album you've ever received as VCLT. I'm going to show probably my favourite received item ever in a VCLT, and it came last year again from Tim over at High News Vinyl. He sent me a copy of Lab Cabin California by The Far Side, yet another hip hop album, but one of my favourites of all time. I didn't have this yet, and it sounds incredible pressing wise, and like I said, one of the best hip hop albums, not just one of my favourites, but definitely I would say one of the best ever made, and that's being unbiased about this. Love this album, and Tim, thank you so much for sending this my way. I don't receive much VCLT. I've received 2 from Tim because when we had the meet up, he also gave me a VCLT then. I've had one from Jeff, and I've had one from Back to the Vinyl when he used to make videos. An old channel. He's not made videos for a while, but yeah, this is Lab Cabin California's, the Far Side's Lab Cabin California. Definitely, probably, I don't like to play favourites with gifts and stuff I receive from VCLT, but that is definitely one of my favourites ever received. Show an album, number 19 is show an album with no writing on the cover. First one I saw, Santana's 3rd self-titled album. If you can see that there, ignore them. They are ticket stubs that came in the album when I got it. Obviously, the person who had owned this album before me had obviously seen Santana twice. Once in Glasgow and once, I'm guessing, in Asia. I have no idea where the where that stadium
You're really
is.
putting me off.
Sorry. But yeah, they saw Santana twice. And as you can see, there is no writing on the album jacket whatsoever. Not even on the back. So there's that one. Number 20, show a 7-inch. What?
You little guy doing
that. Anyway, number 20, show a 7-inch single. I just went into my record box and picked one out at random. This is Grace Jones, Pull Up to the Bumper. Another artist I've sort of rediscovered in 2021. I want to try and grab some of her albums if I can. But this is one I listened to, really enjoyed it. Yeah, and so, yeah, definitely at the moment, my favourite Grace Jones song, but that could change. But yeah, there is that one. Like I said, I just picked one out at random. Number 21, show a coloured vinyl. This also could have come under, Shrink. Sure, now I'm still in the Shrink, but I decided to go with another album I've not shown for a while. This is Wild Nothing with Indigo, the Rough Trade exclusive. I don't buy much from Rough Trade, but this was limited to 300 copies. And this comes on a very beautiful purple coloured vinyl. It looks pink on camera, but it is purple. My favourite colour is purple, so that's maybe why I went for that. But obviously I did listen to it first, make sure I knew I definitely wanted it, and I definitely did. I loved how this album sounded. So yeah, there's Wild Nothing's Indigo. This is like I said, the purple vinyl Rough Trade exclusive record. So there's that. The last album I'm going to show, this was the last question, which is show an album from 1982. I don't know why it's 1982. Maybe because it's 40 years between 82 and now 2022. But of course, the album I picked from 82 is not only my favorite album from 1982, but probably my favorite album from the 80s. It definitely gets spun the most. That's ABC's The Lexicon of Love. This album is easily my favourite 80s album. There's some funky stuff in here, some new wavy kind of stuff. Just an incredible album, and even when I find all the 7s and 12s off this album, I'm still picking them up because I just love the album so much. Right. Sorry that this is another really long video. I could have sped through it, but I felt like some of them needed explanation. Anyway, that is the... What are you laughing at now?
Just look really gay doing all this.
Alright, well, I'm just not going to move my hands anymore. Guys, thanks so much for tuning back into the channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you're new here. Another year, another vinyl tag, and like I said, I should say at the beginning, like I should have said at the beginning, a vinyl tag is a great way to start your vinyl channel. If you are thinking of making videos, you don't know where to start, the vinyl tag is usually a great place to start. So anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed. Sorry again, it's a long one, but thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for coming with me into 2022. And I will see you all again very soon. And I promise you in the next video that Call of Duty will not be on in the background.
You can't promise that.
Alright, I can. Take care. Bye.